Hello, my loves. Welcome to Pain to Joy. My name is Danielle, and I want to thank you from my whole heart for being here today. I didn't know if I would be able to get an episode out this week, as had some topsy-turvy times with a place I was staying here in Florence, and as of 11:30 last night, Sunday night, today is Monday at 1:27, my lucky number, my birth date, p.m. on Monday, I am in a new place, which is going to be so much better. And it got me thinking about mindset and about the things that we can control or the things we think that we can control. And the reason I started thinking about this is because I was getting myself together. I was going to go out and get some food and some supplies. And I noticed that there are some marks and some scuffs and some yucky things on the wall in my bedroom and on door handles for the bathrooms. And I went and found some cleaning solution and a sponge, and I started cleaning. And I have to be careful when I do this because I don't want to injure myself, and because there's been a lot of suitcase moving the last few days. But I was sort of lightly scrubbing at some of these marks, which I've done a great job at removing as I'm staring at the wall now. And I was thinking as I was scrubbing the bathroom door, what are the things in our lives that we feel like we can't control? And what do we do to feel like we're more in control? So when you're feeling out of control, what do you do to feel like you can get that control back? But my next thought was, we actually can't control anything. And this is something that took me a while to learn and to figure out. I was someone who thought that I did all the quote-unquote right things by Western society standards. And what I mean by that is I was taught or told growing up, you go to university after high school, you get a job, you meet somebody that you want to marry and have children with and make a home with, and you do all of these things. You do all of the quote-unquote right things. And I felt like I did all the right things. And I thought, I did it. I did all of the things that I was told to do. And I felt that I had some sort of control over that because somehow, some way, I must have made that happen. I did the university thing. It took me a little longer than others. I met a wonderful person. We lived together. I thought we were going to have a family. And then we didn't. In the fall of 2009, we separated. And we didn't have that family. And months later, I was in a car accident. And years after that, I was no longer able to do the job that I loved of being a high school French and Spanish teacher. And I think that's probably the point in 2015 in the fall when things started crumbling, where I realized we ultimately don't have control. We can set out to do things. We can create these lives that we want to have. But the only thing we can actually control is our mindset. The only thing we can actually control is how we choose to look at things. And in these last few days, I knew as of maybe Saturday midday that I would need to leave the apartment I was in for a variety of reasons. That's what I had to do. I'd been searching for other possibilities. It can be a bit tricky in Florence. I knew that because a few years ago, I tried for months, every day, looking, searching. But I didn't get panicked and I didn't freak out because I chose to believe and affirm out loud that there must be a better place out there for me, that I'm going to find something more extraordinary than I could imagine, far better than the place that I was staying. And that doesn't mean that I didn't have a few moments of feeling sad or confused as to why all of this might be happening. But what I know to be true is, in any given moment, I can choose the way that I'm going to look at a situation. For example, later on Saturday night, I didn't even think about it because normally I walk everywhere in Florence, and I was right in the center, pretty much in the Piazza del Duomo. And luckily, the girl that was staying in the apartment with me last week, lovely person, helped me get my stuff down the 4 massive flights of stairs, get to a spot where we can try and get a taxi. It took, I think, over an hour to try and get a taxi. and I was tuckered out. And I wish I could have snapped my fingers or beamed myself like I was on Star Trek to my friend's place where I was going to be staying that evening. But I knew that wasn't possible. So I tried one taxi app. I tried another taxi app. I took a video of my new friend and I talking about how we were trying to get a taxi adventure. We did our best to make it fun. I'm like, let's make it an adventure. We're in Florence. We're outside. It's a beautiful evening. We happen to have all these suitcases. Let's go a little further. Let's try and get to that hotel. Maybe they can get me a taxi. Nobody was working at the desk. Oh, let's go a little further. Let's try this place. Oh no, we're in the middle of an intersection. Okay, let's try a little further. And we tried 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 again. And eventually I made it to a hotel where the lovely man named Dino did some magic and said, 2 minutes, you'll have a taxi. I thought, great, amazing, wonderful. And did I feel a little bit discouraged within that hour? Yeah, maybe a tiny bit, but I thought eventually I'll make it to my friend's house. Eventually I will get there. At some point a taxi will come. And like I said, my intention was just to make it as fun as possible. I wasn't anticipating being outside for over an hour. I wasn't anticipating lugging the luggage further down the street. But here we were. So what are we going to do? Are we going to cry and complain and be a victim about it? No. We're going to make it as fun as possible. And I think in our everyday, so many things happen in one day. Life throws things at us. Things happen that we don't expect, that can make us feel out of control. And what I've learned is if I stop, if I take a breath, which I'm going to do right now, and I invite you to join me, I'm going to stick my hand on my heart. My other hand is holding the phone, but if it wasn't, I would put it on my lower belly. And if it feels comfortable to you, let's take a long, deep inhale into the low belly. And an even longer exhale. Exhaling all that no longer serves. And when I'm in a moment that can start to feel out of control, when I'm in a situation where I'm not loving it, or I didn't know it was coming, I take a breath, I take a beat. And honestly, I try to remind myself of perspective. The perspective that I am here, I will figure it out. I believe that people are good. I believe that good things are happening for all of us. There's a Louise Hay quote, "Only good lies before me." Only good lies before me. I told myself that over and over again these last couple of days. Yesterday, as I wandered to meet a director of another school who at 3 p.m. was going to let me know if there was maybe a room for me somewhere else, I kept saying, only good lies before me. Everything's going to turn out more extraordinarily than I can even imagine. And even if you start telling yourself that and you don't believe it fully in this moment, the more you tell yourself and the more you see good things happening, the more you will begin to believe in your heart and feel it in your bones and your soul that good things are happening, that people are good. I happened to have a pretty unpleasant conversation with a landlord, but what I celebrate in that was that I stayed true to myself. I was kind. I was clear. I expressed to him that I was just a human being asking for something that he said was possible a few days prior. And ultimately, I don't want to be living in a space with a landlord who is not open to solutions or to being kind. And now I find myself in a place where I had a conversation about an hour ago with the woman who takes care of the place that I'm living, who was like, yes, there's an air conditioner unit that also can be a heater and you can put that on whenever you want, and whatever you need, I can help you with that. And oh yes, we just want to make people feel comfortable in this space. We are just human beings and we want you to feel cared for as another human being. And I said, I can't believe you said that because on Friday I mentioned I was just a human being trying to feel comfortable in the place that I'm staying, trying to get a good sleep. So people are good. And the universe is friendly. And we are going to come up against situations every single day that are going to make us feel out of control. And it is our responsibility to take a breath, to take a beat, to remind ourselves that things are going to work out for us. We might not be able to see it in this moment, but I honestly believe that I was able to find a new place to live in a short period of time because I didn't use my energy for worry. I didn't use my energy to think, oh no, this is the end of the world. What am I going to do? I trusted that I would be supported. I trusted that there were good people out there that would help me. And the director of my school contacted the director of the other school. And here I am, 48 hours later, after contacting the director of my school, in a new place where I will be warm, where it will be quiet, where actually if I open the doors, there's a little bit of a terrace and a beautiful courtyard garden, a massive garden with trees and palm trees. And I'm not sure if they're orange trees or lemon trees. I'm so thankful. And the invitation would be, first of all, if you were to reflect on the last time you felt like something happened that was out of your control, something happened that made you feel out of control, how did you respond? How did it feel in your body? And the next question would be, if you reflect upon it, how will you choose to respond moving forward when something happens that you weren't expecting, that something happens that was not on your bingo card this week? And what I'm going to do is I will take a breath, I will take a beat, I will feel all the feelings that need to be felt. In this case, it was a really quick switch over. I did have a few moments of feeling sad and confused because it wasn't something I was anticipating. But then my brain shifted into connect with some people who can possibly help. I asked for help. I stayed with a friend and her family on Saturday night, incredibly generous of her. And I trusted and believed that it would all work out, that everything is figure-outable. And it did, even faster than I probably could have imagined. But yesterday I said to my friends, I said, I'm sure I'll have a place to stay tonight. I'm going to go to this school. And I actually waited, I think 5 hours to make it happen. But that's a small price to pay, to have a place, to feel safe, to feel warm, to feel welcome. But there are these little steps that we can take so that we are responding to life and not reacting. I journal every day, and one of the things that I write is, I love life and life loves me. That life is happening for me. Life is happening for you. Life is happening for us. And I truly believed, I thought, well, I've got to get out of this place. Wasn't something I was planning on, but I need to get out. That's what I need to do for me, and everything else will fall into place. And I am so thankful that I am now in a place that's exponentially better, where the people who take care of the place are incredibly kind and caring. And whilst on the phone with the woman who manages this place, she said, for every problem, there is a solution. And then she said, actually, I don't see them as problems. I just see them as needs that tenants have, and I do my very best to try and find solutions. And I said, that's the way I love to live my life. What's the problem? Solve it. And it's next level if you don't even really see it as a problem. You just see it as a need or a want or a desire or something that needs to be shifted so that life can flow more smoothly for yourself, for others, for the people around you, so that people feel comfortable in whatever spaces they are in. And I love that I'm now living in a space where the person that manages it believes that everything is possible. It is possible to find solutions for things because there are always things that are going to pop up that we feel like we can't control. But we can control how we respond. We can control how we show up for ourselves. We can control how we show up for others. And if we keep reminding ourselves that we can control us, and that's all we can control, life is a lot more smooth. We can get better at responding and not reacting. And we can start to go with the flow a little bit more. We can trust that it's going to be okay no matter what, that everything is figure-outable, that life, if we let it, will continue to turn out more extraordinarily than we can even imagine. So I hope that we can all begin to shift our mindsets, to take those deep breaths, to feel the feelings that we need to feel, and to remember that we are loved and we are always supported. Because this weekend, when I asked for help, I was supported. When I reached out and said, I need to leave this apartment, can you please help me find a new one? I was supported. When the woman wrote today from the apartment and I said, oh, this is missing and this is missing, I was supported. So may we trust that we are supported. May we trust that it is more than okay to ask for help. Took me a long time to learn that one. You are loved. You are supported. And I'm really thankful that you took the time to be here with me today. Sending you love from Firenze, where I am going to go find some food, hopefully something very delicious, and it's not that warm out, but I will get a gelato. Sending love, sending thankfulness from my heart to yours.